Hey, it's Luca and welcome back to this channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to find lasting inner peace through what I would call radical acceptance. It's one of the most powerful tools that you have for healing and finding inner peace. I'm not only going to talk about it, but I'm going to guide you into it right now to experience the peace of presence. So if you don't know my story, a few years ago, I went through a very deep spiritual awakening that relieved the majority of my unhappiness and suffering. I used to experience years of depression and anxiety that never really went away. For almost over a decade, I was going through continuous depression and anxiety and meaninglessness. And at the age of 12, I remember just thinking, what's the point of life? Why am I here? I just remember that was the way my mind seemed to be wired. And I went through a lot of continuous psychological suffering that never really left me. And then a few years ago, and I'll post a link below where I talk about that in more detail, but I went through a deep spiritual awakening where the majority of that unhappiness completely left me in almost an instant. I just came off my antidepressants, my anti-anxiety medication. I just stopped taking them because I no longer needed them. That's just my personal experience. Don't listen to that for your own journey. That was just my journey. But the reason why I believe that happened to me was because I let go of one of the primary mechanisms that was causing my unhappiness. And it was the continuous commentary in my mind that was almost constantly complaining, judging and criticizing, complaining about everything that I saw. So everything that I saw, everything about myself, everything about life was always filtered to me through this kind of critical judging lens of thought, of consistent thinking. But a few years ago when I went through my spiritual awakening, this deep inner peace in almost an instant washed over me, and all of that suffering left. Because as the way that I refer it to myself, I transcended my thoughts, which means I learnt to let go of that voice in the head that's always judging, always criticizing, always complaining. That went away, and I entered into a state of more inner peace and stillness that came from a silent mind. So what does this have to do with you? I believe the largest cause of our unhappiness as humans is our resistance towards our experience of life. We fight against life. We don't want it to be how it is. Have you noticed? We never want it to be how it is. But except for perhaps in brief moments when we're laughing with our friends or on holiday, for a few moments we get a little bit of respite. But for the majority of the time, we're never quite comfortable in our own skin as humans. We're never quite at peace. And I would suggest the reason why is because of this resistance pattern that lives within us, which is to say, I don't want things like this. I want it like that. That's how your mind speaks in a kind of, that's a thought structure in your mind. I don't want things like this. I want it to be like that. And then you begin to hold a negative energy towards life, towards your present moment. You hold a negative energy towards how things are. You fight against it. You resist it. And because of that, you suffer. The majority of our suffering comes from resisting our experience of this moment. So the relinquishing of suffering then can often be as simple as allowing that resistance pattern to leave you and offering in a more helpful state that we could call acceptance or surrender. Acceptance or surrender means to say you allow everything right now to be as it is. Your immediate experience of your present moment. Nothing that you heard about on the news, nothing that may happen in a year's time or in 10 minutes time, nothing that happened in your past. It's everything that is presenting itself to you in your immediate present moment, which means the now that you are in. And I encourage you to become more aware of it now, your now. Come into it. Listen to my voice and allow it to guide you into the present moment. Notice what surrounds you. Notice what you see, what you can hear. come out of the mind for a moment, which is past and future, and come more deeply into the present. And can you right now just allow everything right now to be as it is? Can you allow this moment to be? To hold no negativity towards it, no resistance towards it, and just for a moment, let it be. How does that feel? Very often it's not the present moment, it's not our surroundings, it's not the world that's bothering us. For most of the time, it's our mind. Our mind is the thing that bothers us. That's why when you go on holiday, very often it's really amazing for a while, but eventually you start to get a bit uncomfortable. Even if you're in a 5-star resort and everything perfect, for so many people they start to get a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe not everyone, but if you were to be there for a month or 5 months, it would start to happen. And the reason why is because you took your mind with you. And it's your mind that's causing you your unhappiness. So what I always say to people is that even if you were to put yourself into the royal family and you were suddenly put into Buckingham Palace, although your surroundings would change massively, it's likely your mind wouldn't. Your thinking patterns would still be the same. And you would still generate the same problems over and over again. Your inner world is primary when it comes to finding inner peace. And that is simply the practice of surrendering into how things are right now. If your mind says anything like, how could I possibly accept this, it's awful, it's horrible, there may be things that seem justified in your resistance. The answer to the mind's question of how on earth could I resist to this, or why on earth should I surrender into this? The answer is because you don't want to suffer. And resistance isn't doing anything. Whatever it is that you're resisting, holding negativity towards, maybe it's your current living situation, maybe it's how much money you have, maybe it's your current job, your current relationship or lack of relationship. Your negativity towards these things won't make them better. Not really. Resistance holds you in a very low vibration that often attracts more lower vibrational things to us. Surrender is of a very high vibration and attracts more higher vibrational things to us. So as you relinquish that resistance pattern, which is completely against the natural instinct of your mind, you are conditioned to believe resistance is how you get what you want. I just have to fight my way to get what I want. So your mind might say, I can't let go of resistance because otherwise my life won't improve. And all I ask you there is to challenge that theory for a while, a week. The next week, just as often as you can, practice letting go of resistance towards your experience life, which is always now, the present moment. Practice that and see what happens. I've had some amazing experiences happen, and one recently happened. I was driving and there was a big pile up of traffic. I could see out in front of me. It was like a junction. There was traffic coming all along just in front of me, and I wanted to go through the traffic to get to the other side, if that makes sense. And it was standstill, completely blocked. And I remember I was just, okay, I'm going to be stuck here for a while. I surrendered. And I remember getting to the front of the queue after not too long, And all of a sudden, one of the cars that was in the traffic jam turned and went another way, and there was a brief moment where there was a gap. And I remember I went straight through it, and then the car pulled in behind me. And I just do believe that because I immediately surrendered, rather than, I'm so annoyed, I want to be home right now, I'm going to be here for a while now, and I let go of any resistance, I do believe something shifted and it allowed me to pass through. Whether I'm insane, who knows, but I do believe that happens, and many people talk about similar things. When you're of this higher vibration, I'm not saying that everything's going to go completely perfectly and you'll never be challenged again, but things do unfold a little bit easier. So mindful attention just simply means observing your inner experience. You can ask yourself questions throughout the day of just, what am I resisting right now? Or am I resisting right now? Ask that question and direct your attention within. You may notice that you are resisting life, resisting how things are, which may be justifiable because you're not happy with how things are, but it's unlikely to change because it's there to teach you things. Often it's there to teach us to surrender. Hardship comes in to teach us the power of surrender. We'll keep facing challenges over and over again until we fully surrender. That's the purpose of life. It's what life is doing to us right now. It's the reason for all of the chaos in the world, all of the hardships, because we are being pushed into surrender, into enlightenment, which is the simple state of being one with now. No opposition to life. You flow with life. Rather than swimming upstream, you let go and flow with the current of life, which is always found in the present moment. So, that is your guidance for today. When your mind begins to resist, just notice that. Don't make it into a problem. Just acknowledge that your mind has started to resist, and gently remind yourself, resistance is not optimal. Surrender is the way. As you begin to see, resistance isn't helping me, as you realize that, and you acknowledge that what you've been doing isn't helping, which is that holding that tight, dense energy in your chest of resistance, how it often feels. As you realize it's not helping and you let it go. And then, of course, still begin doing things, take action, go to work, raise your children, handle things from this lighter state. It's likely your actions become more empowered, and life reflects back to you that shift that you made within. Life responds more kindly to you when you are kind to it, and that always means honoring, having a loving kindness, having a acceptance and allowing state towards your present moment. Go easy with yourself, remember. These are years, thousands of years of psychological conditioning that we are aiming right now in this little vehicle to overcome. So go easy on yourself. Don't make yourself into a personal problem, that the mind loves to do that. Just be gentle with yourself. Know that you're doing the best that you can, always. Remember the prophecy that blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. It's very true. Don't allow an insane world to pull you into the insanity. remain transcendent to it, remain above it, distant from it. It's the best thing you can do at building a better world. So I hope that's helpful for you. Just a reminder, I have been writing a book for the last 3 years, and I'm just coming hopefully now to the end of having it finished. I wanted it to be perfect for you. So if you could sign up to my email list, I'll post it below. You'll get early access to the book. You'll be one of the first. And you'll also get some free stuff as well, probably a meditation and things if you're on my email list. So go and get signed up. I'll post that link below. And I look forward to seeing you in a video very soon. In the meantime, go easy on yourself. And just remember, the one practice, allowing everything to be.